Fenlon, we meet again. And again. And again.
I grow tired of your visits, cat.
As do I, you slut.
You are a slut.
You're a slut.
You are the slut.
Cat, ready to dance.
I'm always ready.
Fenlongo, I've missed our chats.
You shut up and fight.
Welcome to the mother. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. It would appear that both the Valle sisters, Yokasta and Naomi Valle, will now be trained by Jose Benavidez Sr. in Seattle, following Naomi's loss in what was her MVP debut and Yokasta's more recent loss to Lourdes Juarez in the last MVP show. Once again, they're changing their decorum. We've seen this before. When Yokasta lost to Senicia Estrada in what was the undisputed minimum weight title fight, she left Coach G for Penda Nahar. Penda Nahar, who trains William Zepeda and used to train Subriel Matias. Clearly, he's got a type. So when she loses to Senicia Estrada, she leaves Coach G. When she loses to Lourdes Juarez, she leaves Penda Nahar. And now she's with veteran trainer Jose Benavidez, whose prized pupil is a pressure fighter, just like Panda's prized pupils are pressure fighters. So is this going to be a good fit? Might not make any difference at all. I mean, what are you going to learn from Jose Benavidez that you could not learn from Penda Nahar when they've both got a type? They both seem to specialize in pressure fighting, and I would not say that David Benavidez's footwork, because that's who you're using as a litmus test for how far you can go with Jose. You're using David, you're using his son. And I'm just saying that David Benavidez's footwork and ability to close the distance is not such that you're going to learn anything new from Jose that you couldn't learn from Penda. That is what Yokasta needs to work on. Closing the distance safely without taking too much punishment going in. Whereas with Naomi, it is a little bit different. If you can remember, Naomi lost her MVP debut for different reasons than Yokasta. Where Yokasta lost the fight to Lourdes because she couldn't close the distance without getting caught coming in, getting countered. Naomi lost because she's got no inside game. It's not the same thing. Naomi doesn't have any inside game where Yokasta Valle does. What Naomi needs to work on is not the same thing that Yokasta needs to work on. Yokasta needs to work on her footwork and not getting peppered with shots coming in. Whereas Naomi, she needs to acquaint herself with infighting. Maybe Jose Benavidez can help Naomi with that, but with Yokasta, she needs something else. And it seems that with the Valle sisters, you get them as a packaged deal. You get them both. Even though they're very different fighters. Where Yokasta Valle is a mid-range to inside fighter, an aggressive one, Naomi is an outboxer, is a mover, is a jabber, and she prefers to fight long range. So how could you hire the same trainer to train both when they've got very different tendencies? With Naomi and Yokasta, it's pretty much the same thing you've seen with Stephanie and Jennifer Hahn, those two fighting sisters from a fighting family who are also very different, where Stephanie's aggressive and likes to sit on her punches and go for it. Jennifer's more of a boxer, more of a mover. I don't think there's going to be a rematch between Yokasta Valle and Lourdes Juarez at light flyweight. I think Yokasta's going to return to the minimum weight division where she still reigns as WBC champion and focus on unifying titles there and fighting for undisputed there, which is what she should have been doing from the get. Comes to Naomi, I'm not even sure she's still with MVP because she lost in her MVP debut and we haven't seen her fight under the banner since, even though MVP has done other shows since then and has shows coming up. None of which Naomi seems to be fighting on. So, I mean, we'll see what happens next for the Valle sisters because they're not done.
But, you know, when you talk about the offers that Zuffa are making, you're having to pay legacy guys to lose their legacy. So it's got to be a lot of money. I know what Shakur's getting. He's crazy.
How much is he getting?
No, it's his business. Good luck to him, by the way.
Is it more than 7 figures? Or around 7 figures?
More than 7 figures?
Yeah.
Well, 7 figures is $1 million.
Yeah.
Cool,
my bad. Eight figures. I didn't graduate
I
math.
was thinking, I think so. Yeah, yes, it is.
More than 8 figures.
Yes,
yeah.
but listen, Shakur's an unbelievable fighter, but there is a value to these guys. By the way, let them make it. I don't begrudge Shakur Stevenson, but I know what the legacy means to Shakur. But he's already got a lot of legacy. He's a 4-division world champion. Do you know what I mean? But I would have liked to see him go on and pick up the other belts and try and, But look, he's obviously got an opportunity that was too good to turn down. Good luck to him. It's a tough sport. Let him go and earn his money.
I don't agree with the contention that Shakur Stevenson signing to Zuffa came at the expense of his legacy. Not if they can get Devin Haney in the ring, because compare Devin as an opponent in terms of name, the size of the purse, to those guys at 140. Are we to believe that fighting Dalton Smith or Gary Antoine Russell is the same as fighting Devin?
You know that it's not.
Fighting the winner of Delgado versus Biarzlanov? That's supposed to be the same as fighting Devin?
You know that it's not.
But if they can get Shakur Stevenson, that Devin Haney fight, that does make for a bigger fight and a bigger purse than unifying the division, fighting any of them. So is it really at the expense of Shakur's legacy? Doesn't beating Devin Haney do more for his legacy than fighting those guys would?
But it might not be for a belt, though. For Devin to fight Shakur, he's got to skip out on his mandatory, Keyshawn Davis, and if he does, the title is forfeit.
A fair point. That if you fight Devin, and even if you beat him, you don't exactly become a 5-weight world champion in doing so, because there may not be a title on the line. But people would still rate the victory, wouldn't they? Even if there's not a title on the line, if Shakur goes in there and outpoints Devin Haney, outclasses him, he's not going to get credit?
I think people would still give him credit.
The real question is, can Zuffa Boxing get Shakur the Devin Haney fight? Because it's not official. It's all rumors and rumblings right now.
So I want to do like a little what have you heard? Because so what have you heard about Devin Haney is, he seems kind of being
Do you know what? No, he's not. I've got to be honest, right? And I just said this in an interview. People are saying right now, Devin Haney's in no man's land. I actually think Devin Haney is in a brilliant position, right? Because Devin Haney was going to sign with Zuffa. He probably still will. I don't know where he's up to, right? I think that, I know the numbers they're giving Shakur. Great deal for Shakur. He gave up his legacy, but he's got legacy. And now he's got a great deal. Good for him. They really need him to fight Devin Haney, because when you're paying someone that much money, who are you going to put him in with? And the narrative that they bleed into fighters is so bizarre. Like, you got Shakur up there going, the great thing about this deal is it's the best v the best, and I can fight whoever I want. No, you can't. What are you talking about? You got a load of the champions and big names on the zone with other promoters. You can't fight who you want, right? Now, who else can you fight right now? Rayo Valenzuela, good fighter, but you're going to pay Shakur that kind of money to fight Rayo Valenzuela. They need Devin Haney. They need to make that fight. And actually, as much as it pains me to say the position that Devin and Bill are in right now, and I love them, they should be saying, you really need me right now. Don't you, Zuffa? Because what other fight is going to be worth paying Shakur that kind of money other than Devin Haney? And the problem is with Devin and Bill, when they understand they have leverage, God, they are fucking hard work. Do you know what I mean? So good luck to Devin. I think if he plays it right, you see, yeah, it's very, very interesting. Very interesting.
That's the caveat, isn't it? And I'm sure that Eddie Hearn has already gone in Bill and Devin's ear about their leverage in the situation to make things difficult for Zuffa.
Difficult for Dana.
They are the competition, after all, so I'm sure that at some point Eddie Hearn got in contact with Bill and let him know, made him aware that they've got a whole lot riding on delivering Devin to Shakur, and the Haneys can use that to their advantage. I don't recall a time I ever saw so much money being frittered away for two of the most boring fighters in the industry. It's like paying a fortune for what was the Robert Easter versus Rances Bartholomew fight. I mean, Devin's got a reputation for being boring, and so does Shakur, but Zuffa seems to be paying through the nose.
Let him.
By now we're all used to it. a new kid on the block who's well-financed and wants to make a splash and burns through a lot of fucking money at the start. It's at no expense to me and you. Think about it. They do that fight, it's not a pay-per-view. Whereas if it were on DAZN, it would be. With Zuffa, it's not.
So let him.
Burn through as much of Turkey's money as you want to put these two very boring fighters in the ring with each other. I'll watch it.
But make no mistake, it's no substitute for a long-term strategy.
Whatever you're set to spend to bring Devin Haney over to your side of things to do a fight between him and Shakur, what you're now spending for the Conor Benn versus Brian Garcia fight, I'm sure that it's costing a lot of money.
None of mine, so I don't care.
But this kind of frivolous spending can only go on for so long before the expenditure has to start making sense. PBC did the same thing upon their inception, DAZN upon their US debut, Boxer on Sky Sports when they first inked that deal, and eventually they all had to tighten their wallets.
Eventually, the dollars had to start making sense.
And I don't think it's going to be any different here. When you pay a Brian Garcia, whatever you're paying him to come over and box your boy, Conor Benn, well, what if Conor Benn loses? What if he goes in there, he gets knocked out? What does that do for Zuffa?
I'm gonna enjoy this while it lasts because nothing does.
But you made the fight between Brian and Conor, and if Brian wins and he knocks out Conor, what does that do for Zuffa? Ryan goes back to Golden Boy, has a circle jerk with Oscar.
They sniff coke off of each other's dicks wearing fishnets, then what?
Say you make that fight between Shakur and Devin, and Shakur actually wins. The search then begins again for Shakur's next opponent. And what is that going to cost you? Because every fighter will then know to exploit the situation.
You don't have anybody in-house for Shakur to fight. You've got to look outside of your own borders for opponents, and those opponents, they're going to exploit that. They're going to ask for the moon and the stars, and you're going to have to kick that out to them.
It's really not a long-term strategy. In the short term, it's a good way to make a splash because we've seen it before.
It works for a short while, but not in the long run.
Don't confuse my skepticism with me having an aversion to Zuffa doing what they're doing, because I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the disruption and the idea that fights of this scale might happen at no additional charge. I think that's beneficial to me and you, the consumers.
So enjoy it while it lasts.
But enjoy it understanding that nothing does. When DAZN debuted in America, the sales pitch was the end of pay-per-view. Do you remember that?
And you were getting very big fights with very big names for a long while at no additional charge. Then they got pay-per-view functionality, and now they're doing more pay-per-views than anybody in the industry.
Understanding that today's price may not be yesterday's price.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Because it can't. Spending in excess of what a fight is worth, what a fighter is worth, does not make for a soluble business in the long term. In what is a related story, Jai Opetaia is now set for the Garcia vs. Benn undercard. Ring Magazine World Cruiserweight Champion Jai Opetaia is set to headline the undercard for Garcia vs. Benn on September 12th in Vegas.
Who's he gonna fight, though?
Chris Smith, who's connected to Zuffa the same as Jai Opetaia, and he's available, reportedly waiting on the call to have that Jai Opetaia fight for what is the inaugural Zuffa Cruiserweight title that he won, and of course, the Ring Magazine and Lineal titles, which mean a lot more to the hardcores than just the simple Zmuffa belt. Though, of course, when Zuffa Boxing signed Jai Opetaia, it was with a lot more in mind than just a Chris Smith fight for what you're paying this guy, which is reportedly more than what Matchroom was paying him.
They want to make the Benavidez fight. David Benavidez, who's reported to be facing Noel Mikhailian this fall in a unification match that will be distributed via both DAZN and Amazon Prime. Another situation that will require the top brass at Zuffa to kick out a lot of money.
What they did for Brian Garcia, they're going to have to also do for David Benavidez, and really any fighter that they want to bring over from outside of their own borders. Perhaps the saving grace is, I think David Benavidez is going to bite. When push comes to shove in the coming year, I don't think he's going to have much of a choice, because he can't get down to light heavyweight. Those fights with Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev are in the wind, as is the Canelo Alvarez fight that he always mentions on every podcast, in every interview. None of that is likely to happen at this point.
David's headlined pay-per-views 4 or 5 times now as a main event fighter, and I hardly think he made a big score boxing Caleb Plant or Demetrius Andrade or David Morrell. Be serious.
Pay-per-views ain't selling like hotcakes no more. The model don't pay what it used to, least of all when the market is oversaturated and piracy is at an all-time high that David couldn't have made much, boxing Caleb Plant or Demetrius Andrade or David Morrell.
Zerto, what do you really think he's gonna pull in boxing a little-known Armenian in Noel Mikhailian in the fall?
He will hold out for as long as he can, but I don't anticipate that's going to be all that long because David's not actually that young a guy. He doesn't have forever to make a big score, a big purse from a fight, so you figure.
Zuffa's gonna give him another call. They're gonna take another crack at the apple to bring him over, except this time he might bite.
For the money that they're spending to bring Shakur Stevenson over, Devin Haney over, Ryan Garcia over, I think David may yet want a piece of that action, even if it means risking certain defeat to Jai Opetaia.
They tried to frame it to where Jai Opetaia is the one ducking the real smoke by going to Zuffa, and I told you weeks ago, I told you months ago, once they get that Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn fight over the line, that excuse is gonna go out the window.
That because Jai went to Zuffa, he's a man on an island? Bitch, please.
Ryan Garcia is many times a more popular fighter than David Benavidez is, with a bigger following, and he makes more money overall. So, if he can go to Zuffa, their money's just as green for David.
There's no excuse, and this is where I appreciate the stir that Zuffa is creating within the boxing space, the disruption and the shift in the paradigm, and other vague and pretentious descriptions for something that is actually simple.
Something I told you already. There is more money behind Jai Opetaia than there is behind David Benavidez. Even if David is marginally more popular in the United States, he's not so popular that he can stand alone. He doesn't have an abundance of opponent options. The real money in the cruiserweight division is not David Benavidez, it's Jai Opetaia.
And eventually, David is going to have to bend the knee, bite the bullet, and kiss the rings. Because you've only got a short window of opportunity to make money as a boxer, real money that you can retire on. You can't retire off of Demetrius Andrade money, Noel Mikhailian money.
Nope.
It's just a question of when. Jai Opetaia is a very lean cruiserweight, and you can see that to where I don't get the impression he's busting at the seams or struggling to make the weight at all. So he's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. You can't hope that he leaves the division.
He's on your neck, and he wants you. So maybe he fights Chris Billum Smith in September.
David fights Noel Mikhailian sometime in October or November. And at some point next year, I don't know when exactly, David might decide to bite the bullet because he doesn't have that many options.